First principles synthesis of longevity. Literature. The conglomerate of books on longevity, ranging from popular science, e.g. Outlive, Radical Longevity, to evidence-based studies, e.g. Superagers, The Longevity Project, reveals a set of first principles. These foundational truths transcend specific diet plans or workout routines, representing the necessary and sufficient conditions for extending both lifespan, longevity, and health span, quality of life. The overall narrative converges on the idea that extending life is not a matter of luck or genetic destiny alone, but an ongoing integrated engineering problem. The texts collectively identify three irreducible domains of human existence that must be optimized: cellular and biological mechanics, systemic and behavioral optimization, and existential and purposeful resilience. First principle. The cellular and mechanistic core. The biology. The fundamental principle governing biological longevity is the proactive management of the internal mechanisms responsible for cellular degradation and energy regulation. The goal is to maximize molecular efficiency and minimize entropic decay. Principle of homeostatic stress, hormesis. This principle posits that the body must be subjected to controlled, intermittent periods of stress to trigger protective and restorative processes. The absence of stress leads to complacency and faster decay, while controlled stress activates longevity pathways. Nutrient deprivation, autophagy. Texts referencing the longevity diet and similar concepts highlight the deliberate reduction of nutrient signaling, often via intermittent fasting or calorie restriction. This forces cells to enter autophagy, self-eating, a mechanism where damaged cellular components are recycled and cleared, essentially performing internal maintenance. This intermittent stress leads to stronger, more resilient cells. Thermal and physical stress. Concepts like intense exercise or exposure to hot-cold temperatures, sauna, cold plunges, are forms of hormesis. They induce a short-term benign crisis that activates stress response proteins, e.g. heat shock proteins, sirtuins, which repair DNA, improve metabolic function, and bolster cellular defense systems. The principle dictates that cells that must constantly adapt to minor challenges are better equipped to withstand major crises. Principle of mitochondrial integrity and energy flow. The mitochondrion is the power plant of the cell, and its health is the irreducible foundation of cellular health, as suggested by your guide to cellular health. Aging is at its core an energy crisis stemming from mitochondrial dysfunction. Redox balance, oxidative stress control. Longevity requires minimizing the uncontrolled damage caused by reactive oxygen species, ROS, the byproducts of energy production. This is achieved not just by consuming antioxidants, but by supporting the body's endogenous antioxidant systems and ensuring efficient electron transport within the mitochondria, ATP efficiency. Longevity hinges on the capacity of mitochondria to generate sufficient ATP, adenosine triphosphate cellular energy, efficiently, particularly in high-demand tissues like the brain and muscle. Strategies like specialized nutrition, e.g., ketogenic states, specific fatty acids, are often cited for their role in improving mitochondrial substrate utilization and reducing inflammatory byproducts. Principle of genomic stability and repair. The MO. Information that dictates life, DNA, must be protected and repaired. The principle of genomic stability is about minimizing the rate of informational decay. Telomere management. The telomere, the protective cap on DNA strands, shortens with each cell division and with chronic stress. While the overall process is irreversible, the goal is to slow the rate of loss and, in some cases, encourage maintenance via the enzyme telomerase. This involves managing chronic stress, cortisol, which accelerates telomere attrition, and providing the necessary precursors for DNA repair. Epigenetic modulation. Aging is heavily influenced by epigenetics, the turning on and off of genes. Longevity protocols focus on lifestyle interventions, diet, sleep, stress management, that keep young genes active and suppress aging genes. This principle holds that the environment we create for our genes is more critical than the genes we inherit. First principle, systemic and behavioral optimization, the practice. The raw biological machinery must be managed and leveraged through consistent non-negotiable behaviors. Longevity is a discipline of daily habits, not a miraculous cure. A. Principle of dose-dependent movement, physical competence. Movement is non-negotiable, but the quality and intent of movement are paramount. Longevity is defined by physical competence, not just cardio capacity. Strength and power. The loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia, and strength is one of the most predictive markers of long-term mortality. The principle dictates that muscle is not just for movement, but acts as a key endocrine organ that regulates metabolism, inflammation, and insulin sensitivity. Resistance training is therefore a core pillar of longevity, as it directly impacts frailty and metabolic health. Aerobic and anaerobic conditioning. As emphasized in titles like Outlive, fitness must be optimized across different zones. Aerobic capacity, Zone 2 steady state, builds the foundational endurance and improves mitochondrial health, while anaerobic capacity, Zone 5 Shiat, ensures the ability to handle high-demand, short-burst activity, critical for preserving independence and responding to emergencies. Balance and stability. Preventing the stupid death, as alluded to in Longevity Guidebook, from falls and accidents requires consistent practice in balance, flexibility, and spatial awareness. The most successful longevity plans integrate deliberate stability training alongside strength. B. Principle of metabolic flexibility. The ability to seamlessly switch between burning glucose and burning fat for energy is a hallmark of youthful metabolism. Loss of this flexibility is a precursor to almost all chronic diseases of aging. Insulin sensitivity. Across all dietary approaches, e.g., the longevity diet, Eat for Life, the central goal is to maintain high sensitivity to the hormone insulin. Chronic overconsumption of refined carbohydrates drives insulin resistance, leading to inflammatory states and accelerated aging. Management of glucose spikes is thus a universal health mandate. Dietary quality over quantity. Focus on information. The books collectively emphasize that food is not just calories, but information that directs genetic expression and cellular behavior. The principle is to prioritize nutrient density, focusing on whole unprocessed foods that support gut health, the microbiome, which acts as a secondary metabolic and immune control system. C. Principle of recovery and circadian rhythm. Sleep as medicine. Sleep is the primary daily maintenance function, and optimizing it is the easiest and most powerful form of longevity medicine. Consolidation of memory and waste clearance. During deep sleep, the brain actively clears metabolic waste products via the glymphatic system, and memories are processed. Chronic sleep deprivation is not merely tiredness, it's a failure to clear toxicity, leading to inflammation and accelerated neurodegeneration. Hormonal reset. Sleep regulates key anabolic, growth, and catabolic, breakdown hormones, including cortisol, testosterone, and human growth hormone, HGH. Consistency in the circadian rhythm, waking and sleeping at the same time, is fundamental for governing these hormonal cycles and maximizing the body's nightly repair work. 31st principle, existential and purposeful resilience, the meaning. True longevity is not just about extending the physical engine, but ensuring the prolonged existence is meaningful and joyful, as noted in your Guide to Cellular Health and books on longevity through purpose. This principle focuses on the quality of the life being extended. A. Principle of social connection, the blue zone factor. Research, like the Longevity Project, suggests that social integration is a more powerful predictor of life extension than diet or exercise alone. Humans are social animals, and isolation is a massive chronic stressor. Belonging and accountability. Strong social ties provide a sense of belonging, which regulates the stress response system, reducing chronic inflammation. Furthermore, social accountability, having people rely on you, reinforces adherence to positive health behaviors. Emotional resilience. Sharing difficulties and triumphs within a trusting network is critical for processing stress and prevents the accumulation of emotional trauma that can manifest as chronic physical disease. B. Principle of purpose and contribution, the Ikigai principle. The longest-lived populations globally share a profound sense of purpose, often referred to as Ikigai, or reason for being. Anti-retirement mindset. The concept of retiring from contribution is counter-longevity. The mind and body thrive on challenge and meaning. A compelling purpose acts as a psychological immune system, encouraging daily action, mental acuity, and a resistance to decay. Cognitive demand. Purpose often involves continuous learning, creative, problem-solving, or contribution to a community, all of which maintain high cognitive demand. This constant engagement is the most effective defense against cognitive decline and maintains the sharpness of the brain. Radical longevity. C. Principle of joy and playfulness, the art of longevity. While the science is rigid, the art of longevity is about maintaining a lighthearted engagement with life. Joy, expressed through humor, play, and positive emotional states, is a modulator of stress hormones. Stress attenuation. The chronic, low-grade stress of modern life is a major accelerator of aging. Practices that promote joy, gratitude, and a sense of awe, including mindfulness and spiritual practice, consistent with your notes on mindful living and spiritual businesses like Elemental Soul, are essential. They shift the body out of the sympathetic fight-or-flight state and into the parasympathetic rest and digest state, enabling efficient repair and maintenance. Synthesis. Conclusion. The unified longevity formula extracted from these texts is not a single pill or miraculous breakthrough. It is the integrated management of three domains of stress and resilience. Harness biological stress. Use hormetic stressors, fasting, heat, cold, intense exercise, to activate cellular repair and survival pathways. Optimize metabolic efficiency. Maintain excellent insulin sensitivity and a flexible metabolism that can efficiently produce energy and clear waste via quality sleep and nutrient-dense, non-inflammatory diets. Cultivate existential resilience. Ground the extended life in compelling purpose and rich social connection, as these are the ultimate regulators of chronic stress and the most powerful drivers of a sustained will to live well. Longevity is the continuous purposeful work of making the body and mind resilient to entropy, thereby guaranteeing not just more years, but more functional, meaningful years.